what you think, Fred. All right.
Fred.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just going to be me and you, or Eli and Zach going to pop in?
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while. But
Every now and then we'll kind of.
he was already here right away.
It kind of, well, we're used to you attacking us, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?
I see.
Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Open Book here on Game On Wisconsin. As you can see, we are down 1 today with Zach clearly having more important things to do on his schedule, but I am very honored to be joined by, as always, Jen. How you doing? How's your week leading up to the holidays and break and the New Year's going?
Yeah, I mean, I am ready for a 10-day break, that's for sure. I think everybody in the middle school is, kids are crazy. What can you do? But yeah, luckily it makes for an easy week, just a lot of movies. And I mean, I love Christmas, so I'm just kind of antsy waiting for the holiday. And I get to love Christmas a little extra this year because the Packers play. So hopefully things go well and I can truly enjoy my holiday.
Yeah.
Not gonna think the negative though. I don't do that. I'm the optimistic one here.
Yeah, things will go well and it will be a very Merry Christmas for everyone. But what's your go-to Christmas movie then heading up to the big day?
I am a big fan of the Jim Carrey The Grinch.
Ooh,
and every time I think of that movie, I truly think that it's the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I think my aunt took me to see it. So it's got a little bit of nostalgia, but that one's just a classic for me. So always got to watch that one. I mean, I love the Santa Claus as well with Tim Allen. I love the Home Alone. Obviously, Elf is a classic. So, and then you got to go old school with like the really old claymation Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman cartoon. Yeah,
I don't know.
Really just kind of gotta see. I don't watch a lot of movies, but when it comes to Christmas movies, I have seen at least the important ones.
Yeah, so we've got Chris going with Elf being the GOAT, which to a lot of people it definitely is. It is one of the greater ones. I'm sure I will watch that over the next few days. I've already done Home Alone, got that knocked out, enjoyed it just as much as I felt like the first time. And
I just found out that they're either making like a 4th or there already is a 4th.
Yeah, there's another one.
Like, how is there 4 to that series where it's about like forgetting your kid? How do you forget a kid 4 times?
Exactly. It's just terrible parenting is clearly what it is, but I will not watch another one. You got to go with the original. After number 2, that's it. The rest of them don't really exist.
I've never even seen the second one. I've only seen the first, and I'm not going to ruin the Home Alone franchise by seeing 2, 3, or 4.
Second one is pretty legendary.
The New York one, because I think I've seen like bits and pieces, but I've never truly watched it in full.
I would recommend it. I enjoyed it, but real quick, no, Zach he's not on the COVID list. Thank God. He's feeling good. He's just has some other obligations to take care of tonight, but we will soldier on as we always do. And before we get the
can't even pull Andrew in to replace him because Andrew is also absent today.
Andrew's not in.
It's solely us two in charge of the show.
Yeah, which means
it could be a disaster, but it'll be fun.
We will do our best. But before we get into the Baltimore game and everything else, I got to give a shout out to, and let's throw this up here for everyone to see. And I'm going to botch the name of it, but
sorry, Dakota, we should have asked you how to say it.
But there's the link to get Open Book merch. And I am not just saying this because this is Open Book. This is literally the most comfortable hoodie I own.
No, seriously, the clothes that you get, like the first one I bought was my tie-dye Benkert shirt, the Bomb and Benkert one.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite. It was my favorite t-shirt. And then I got to keep adding to it because the t-shirts are super comfy. I haven't ordered a sweatshirt yet. but no, so I 100% believe you this time with what you're saying, because I do
It
know
is
that
like-
those are super comfy.
Yeah, it has like this fleece lining on the inside. I feel like I'm inside of like a goat. I don't know what that means, but it's super warm and comfortable. So everyone, again, go to that link at the bottom of the screen, get your open book merch, any other Game On Wisconsin, and everything Dakota does really is great, like the Bob and Benkert shirt, all that.
Yep.
Really good stuff. And Chris brings up a great point here with the Artec venture ads. So let's
Oh, I thought you were looking at his one below that. This one.
Oh, Eli lies. Yeah. I don't lie. I am a very truthful person. You know, people just can't handle the truth sometimes. It's a shame. But speaking of the Artec ad, I will attempt.
I was gonna say I already had to do it once.
Yeah, Jen, I know the thing. I knew you already do it once, so I said I will bite the bullet and try to live up to Zach's standards. I'm sure I won't, but I'm gonna try. gotta clear the throat, much like Zach. All right. This show is brought to you by Artec Ventures. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all the investment and fundraising stages, turning their visions into successful companies since 2020. Artec Ventures help turn great ideas into profitable businesses that make an impact on industries, communities, and beyond. And if that might be my best Zach.
That was beautiful. I was pleasantly surprised with the enthusiasm.
Very enthusiastic about today's show because we're coming off a thrilling victory over the Baltimore Ravens. And I think everyone in Packer Nation probably got a couple gray hairs and lost a couple years on their life in the fourth quarter there. Yep. I mean, I kind of had like this feeling that going into half, obviously, wasn't great. And then we started taking over, and I felt real good about it. And then the fourth quarter happened, and it went from 0 to 100 real quick, as they say. So, Jen, take us through your emotions as that game went on, and especially late into the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, so, I mean, we obviously recorded earlier this week, so you're just going to have to deal with hearing a lot of repeats from me. But no, so I was not feeling super well this weekend, just like a head cold. So I was pretty out of it on Sunday. Just kind of wanted to, cuddle up in my recliner with my Packer blanket next to the fire and watch some football. And I was like, it was really hard for me to really focus in. So I really thought that, maybe I'm just not feeling well. But no, that game was as ugly as I thought it was. And I mean, in a game, we have to win out. But if they could win a little bit nicer, that'd be great. I mean, I'm all about the win's a win, and it all looks the same in the standings at the end of the day. But my gosh, it should really not have come down to that. I didn't expect a blowout, but I didn't expect it to come down to preventing a 2-point conversion, nor having to, cover an onside kick. So it was just, I'm trying to focus, but I'm also having a tough time. And it's like things really aren't, the offense looked fine. Obviously there's a lot going on with the offense and obviously records being broken. So that was really thrilling to see. But it was just kind of like, I'm literally sitting there and my eyes are glazed over and I have no idea what I'm watching on the defense or, special teams. I don't know why I'm still surprised at this point, but it was just a really brutal game, and I have never wanted a game to end so bad in my life. I was literally just begging the clock to move faster because I couldn't handle any more of that game. I just needed it to be over. I didn't, I love the Packers to death, but I did not need 60 minutes of that game. I needed a shorter version. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. Probably something similar, but you're at least wearing a hat to cover your gray hairs.
Yeah, exactly. I have a ton of gray hair going on. And that game, it was, like you said, I mean, a win's a win, but there are different kind of wins. And even without Lamar, like you said, I did not expect him to blow out the Ravens in Baltimore. It's just not something you're going to do.
And it's like, I get, you don't have a lot of tape on Huntley, but.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, there's number one, he did start a game earlier this year. He played a bit last year. And in general, like there was, in my opinion, just way too many open lanes for him to run. We obviously saw that with both of the fourth quarter touchdown runs. And True North Packer fan brings up a good point. In the second half, once the Packers got up, it did feel like they were playing some softer coverage, especially on short yardage situations. They were just giving guys 5 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, easy first downs, which you never want to do. For me, unless you're going up, I mean, Marquise Brown, I get it with his speed. You got to give him some room. But against Mark Andrews and some of their other receivers, you've got to be in their face at the line of scrimmage.
Right. And Stokes has the speed to keep up with Brown, which we obviously saw, which was awesome.
Yeah, Stokes had a phenomenal game.
That's the kind of defense where it's like you're playing to not lose and not playing to win. And that's what gets really frustrating in those moments.
Yeah, you could play prevent defense when you're up 3-4 possessions and 5 minutes left in the game. You can't go prevent defense with 10 minutes left, even up by 2 possessions.
Right.
And we know it could have been 3. Of course, Aaron Rodgers just barely missing Lazard in the end zone, which would have probably really been the dagger with like 6 minutes left in the game, maybe a bit more. But without
I stick with my conspiracy that he wanted to break the record at home. I didn't think he probably didn't think it'd come down to what it did, but maybe he has enough faith in his team that they were able to get it done.
That is true. So in case anyone missed it, Aaron Rodgers tied Brett Favre for the most touchdowns in Packers history with 442, which is just an insane number. And of course, there's plenty of football left to go. And we hope and expect to see that record broken this Saturday against the Browns, which is a game we will get to shortly. But sticking with the Ravens game, and unfortunately, we gotta talk for a minute about the special teams, because it's just like that nightmare that never ends, where every night it just keeps replaying and you think the next night you'll go to sleep and it'll be different, and it's not different. It doesn't matter the personnel. I mean, clearly, they obviously have not made a coaching change, but whoever they're putting on the field, it hasn't seemed to matter. And I just have this sick feeling that at the worst possible time, this special teams could cost the Packers a game. And it's something that it's almost inexplicable. I mean, we're 16 weeks into the season, and we've been talking about this just about every single week. Jen, can you return punts? Can you cover a punt potentially?
I was a center fielder on my varsity softball team, so I do know how to track a ball and catch. I don't know to the extent of catching a football that's going maybe like 40, 50 yards. But, can I really be much worse than what I'm seeing?
No.
But then again, do I really want the special teams curse on my shoulders? Because I think that, somebody sold their soul, probably some Bucks fan who wanted to see a championship, sold their soul to devil, and this is the cost, is bad special teams. So somebody out there, I don't understand how it can be this bad without there being some kind of voodoo behind it, because it's ridiculous when
it seems impossible.
You have vets like Randall Cobb back there, and then he has an issue. Or, Mason Crosby was having some issues earlier, and it's like Boho, shanking a couple. And it's just, we talked about this earlier in the week, but the last thing I want to see on special teams is having to put our star players out there like Jones and Dillon and Douglas and putting them in a position where they could end up getting hurt.
Exactly.
Joe and I on the same wavelength here, because it's terrifying how many people get. I mean, we saw it with Kylan Hill earlier. I don't want to see a repeat of that. I mean, losing him was already tough for special teams, but I don't want, Aaron Jones, who has already had some injury issues this year, to go back there. And, we've seen guys on special teams this year. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember. Somebody took a really cheap shot at some point. I don't remember if it was special teams or not. Maybe I'm completely thinking of the wrong play.
No, it does sound familiar. I'm having a hard time.
I don't know if it was like Savage or something, but
Savage on the onside kick.
Okay, I was like, why would Savage be out there? Might be, maybe I'm still a little sick and not thinking clearly, but
they go for the onside kick, and the Bears didn't even go for the ball. They just went for Savage's head.
Right, and if you're playing a team that is playing for nothing, and I don't like to think that guys are out there to hurt other guys, but things happen in the heat of the moment and you get frustrated and you do something stupid. I don't want one of our guys to be on the receiving end of one of those incidents. So it's really frustrating. You just want them to be able to get special teams on track without having to risk guys that you need in the long haul on your offense or defense. So yeah, I don't know who to blame. I really don't. I don't know if it's the coaching or the players not doing their part, or, you know, probably a big mixture of both, but something just isn't working. And I think that we're all frustrated enough where we, you know, we don't have to talk about it too much, even though I just rambled for like 10 minutes about it, because it's still just a complete joke.
It's mind-boggling. And yeah, I do think it is a mixture of both the players and the coaching. And that's what makes it tough, because if you're able to just pinpoint one player that's been an issue, maybe you could fix that. But I do think it's been a whole combination. But here, as True North Packer fan said, it has been nice to see Mason, even if it's just extra points.
Right.
Over the last 2 weeks, it's not like he's just making extra points. He's been drilling them right down the middle. And he had a sure field goal. I think it was not long. It was in the 30-yard range. But
it's
still,
been nice not having to really talk about Mason Crosby.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where if you're not talking about Mason Crosby, it's because he's doing well.
Exactly, which is what we want to see. And especially as we get down in the winter, kicks are always harder. I mean, there were a lot of times when I was watching the game with someone, and I mean, it was windy and I was just nervous. Like, even on the extra points, I'm like, let's just hope he gets this in. And every time it was right down the middle. And it was nice to see Mason do that. And of course, looking at the offense real quick, how can we not talk about Aaron Rodgers just looking absolutely surgical for almost the entire game, outside of really that one throw to Lazard and that first throw to Devandre where he missed him a bit deep. He was, I mean, the throw to MVS, to me, I mean, that's almost like the throw to Jennings in the Super Bowl, just on the other side, you know, just the other direction, really.
Right.
It wasn't even when he threw the ball. In my head, I'm like, this ball at the very least is being knocked down, potentially intercepted. And to see MVS come up with the catch, it was an incredible throw, incredible concentration by MVS to catch the ball. What were your thoughts about Rodgers' performance and the offense in general?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, on one hand, it's amazing and it's incredible and it's, you know, this put it on a pedestal kind of thing. But at the same time, on the other hand, it's like, this is just everyday Aaron Rodgers. You know, we're lucky enough where this stuff is so normalized in our football community, watching him do things like that. It's incredible to get to watch him week in and week out. Just, you know, you never know, can he get any better? And then he does stuff like that and it just blows your mind. And it's really nice to see MVS on the receiving end of those things, because he has been somebody who is really starting to hit his stride. So to get to see him in 2 huge plays with Rodgers, I think it's just, you know, every week we've seen Rodgers show more and more kind of like comfortability throwing to MVS, and he really wants to hit him on a lot of those shots. And he knows that if he can hit MVS just right with his speed, he's gone. So to be able to see him just like on, I don't even know if I'd call it like a string, because I feel like that doesn't do that throw justice, you know, just like through like a black hole where he kind of just released it and it showed up in MVS's hands, because I don't understand how else that ball gets there without, like, you know, from like, you know, Doctor Strange with his like little this little thing, and then like the ball is here and then it's there. That's like what it is.
I really wish we could bring up the clip, but unfortunately that is not possible at this moment. But as I was saying, I was watching the game with someone. I was watching the game with Mariah, who, by the way, Jen, would love to hear you say the word Minnesota at some point throughout this show, because, so Jen, where are you from?
Why do you roast me to her every day?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, you know, just Minnesota-wise, we're all big fans of Minnesota. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, start holding my O's with my stuffy nose.
Yeah, exactly. And
it sounds super fun.
Yeah, as Chris said here, I am very happy with my preseason Aaron Rodgers MVP bet, because right now he's at plus 110. I got him at plus 1,000. So let's hope Rodgers can finish the season strong. Maybe we'll get everyone some open book merch here, because that would be a nice win for me.
Hey, to be fair, I predicted last year's before he even stepped on the field. So I have the receipts for that one.
You know, it's a shame because last year was the first year in probably about 5 or 6 years I did not do a preseason bet on him for MVP. And then, of course, he wins the MVP. So this year I went extra hard. Even when he wasn't on the team yet, I was like, you know what? I'll be honest. It was like late at night. I think I've had maybe one too many beers. And I was like, I don't care. I was seeing something on Twitter where he's not coming back. He's done. He's not coming back. And in my head, I'm like, you know, I'm going to prove it that he's coming back. So I'm going to bet money that he's going to win MVP, even though it means nothing. But I'm very happy, obviously. He came back. He's playing at an MVP level. In my opinion, he's the clear front runner right now. I think the last 3 weeks, things could they change? Sure. But as of today, he is the front runner. And Jenna, I like this here. Let's do a little quick prediction here.
Oh, I already know this one.
You know this one, so go ahead.
It's going to be Big Dog.
Oh, yeah, right? I feel like
Big Dog has been just, you know, every time Big Dog catches a pass, he's putting spin moves on guys. I don't know how he moves the way he does when he's such a large man, but he wants those extra yards and he wants those touchdowns. He's just coming up short. So I have no doubt that Rodgers is going to hit Mercedes for his 443rd, I believe it would be, touchdown. And Lambeau is just going to, like, I'll be able to hear the barking from here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how amazing it's going to be.
That would absolutely not surprise me. It seems like they've been dying to get him in the end zone for a few weeks now.
Yeah, he's always like a yard or two short.
Yeah, I was shocked at that. The fact that I think it was the corner or safety, whoever it was that made that tackle on Mercedes at like the 2-yard line. I mean, I was expecting him to walk in. Like, that was a very impressive tackle on someone the size of Mercedes Lewis. But I do like that prediction. For me, there you go, Chris. I mean, probably got to go with Devandre, not just because it's the obvious one, but because, you know, I know last year he hit Devandre versus the Bears. It was week 16, I believe it was, to get a record. Last year he hit him, and then again versus the Bears 2 weeks ago he hit him to break the record.
Wait, what record?
He broke. Which record was it? I remember there was something that he wanted. Like, there was 1st and goal, and they threw it against the Bears. And Devandre did that fake fade, then he did the slant.
Right. I
remember there was something where it was like Rodgers did that. It was something about maybe touchdown. Oh, the touchdowns versus the Bears. The most touchdowns. Okay. I think it was the 61st against the Bears. So I'm going to go with Devandre. And yeah, of course you do have 400 going to Devandre as well. So that's just
Devandre makes sense. I do. You know, if Cobb wasn't hurt, he would definitely be a contender for it. But yeah, I mean, he just got these connections with guys. Or if MVS, which he, after having a big game, unfortunately, went on COVID reserve, so he won't be playing. It would have been fun to see him get one since he's been kind of developing into that solid number 2 role. But yeah, I think that it'll be really special if it goes to Devandre. But I also think it'd be really cool if it went to Mercedes.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely be very, very happy to see Mercedes get, I believe, his first touchdown of the year and Rodgers' record-breaking one. And speaking, unfortunately, as you mentioned, MVS.
I was gonna say we'll talk about it.
Yeah, MVS being added to the COVID.
Oh, I thought you were going a different route. No, never mind.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there very soon.
No, we're not on the same wavelength right now, I don't think.
Oh, well, don't worry. The other thing that I'm sure you don't want to be talking about will be brought up very shortly. Don't worry about that. But before that, MVS, is MVS not vaxxed? No, from what I've seen, MVS is. So it is possible he could play. I don't think it's likely.
Especially on a short week when you're playing a Saturday game, it makes it, a day tougher.
Yeah, so I'm not expecting to see him out there, but look, the Packers beat the Cardinals without Devandre. They could beat the Browns without MVS, and that is no discredit to MVS. And speaking, though, amongst the injury/COVID world, we do have expectation that Kenny Clark will be back in the facility by Saturday for the game. So that's big because we all know he is really what starts and finishes for the Packers front seven.
Which there was a comment earlier that I had talked about at some point, just all the up the gut running. We came into this game and I was expecting a lot of perimeter stuff because that's what seemed to be working for Justin Fields. And, the absence of Kenny Clark is huge in this run game. And it really showed against Huntley. And he's a very mobile quarterback. So whether it was him or Lamar, I think they would have done relatively the same thing in that sense. So I definitely hope that they have him back. I don't know, Cleveland's going through a lot of stuff right now. So we really don't know who is going to be out there. I would assume that by now you'd hope that it'd be Baker. But, I mean, we can't always assume stuff with what's going on. So, a little less mobile quarterback, but it would just be nice to kind of secure those things because Cleveland has a really good run game. So having Kenny back would be huge for that run defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nick Chubb, regardless of who the quarterback is, Nick Chubb is a very scary running back to go up against without your Pro Bowl defensive tackle. And now that I have mentioned the Pro Bowl, I guess we got to jump and talk about today. They announced the Pro Bowl rosters. The Packers, to me at least, pretty shockingly, but Jen before the show did bring up some good points as to why. But the Packers had 3 players make the Pro Bowl roster: Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Kenny Clark. Usually the Packers have more than 3 players make it, but obviously with guys like Jair, Za'Darius, Elton Jenkins, all missing time this year, if not the whole season in Za'Darius's case, that is going to be
Bakhtiari.
Or David Bakhtiari, of course. And but Chris, actually, so anyone who missed it, Rasul Douglas is actually an alternate, which for someone who came into the team mid-season, played 6-7 games, maybe more by now, maybe 7 or 8 games, but still impressive that he made it as an alternate. I'm very happy with that. But we got to talk about the biggest snub, in my opinion, of the whole Pro Bowl roster being Devandre Campbell not making it, which is beyond reason to me. Jen, I mean, when you saw it come out and his name wasn't there, I mean, for me, that was the first thing. I mean, Rodgers, Devontae Clark, I pretty much immediately expected that. To not see Campbell was pretty shocking. What were your thoughts on that?
It's shocking, but it's not. I mean, every year, one of the best guys isn't on that list, and it's really unfortunate. I mean, it doesn't matter because he'll be playing somewhere else that weekend.
True.
But I mean, he's a guy where it's like if he doesn't get this Pro Bowl, he at least deserves like first team recognition because he has been unbelievable this season. He comes in, and, he's not talked about a lot in the offseason, and he basically takes over that captain role on the defense. And especially with no Jair or Z out there, he is really, he jumped into that role so easily and so smoothly. It felt like he had been here for the last few years. So it's really frustrating to see guys like that just not get the recognition that they deserve. And he had finally been starting to get some of that recognition and like the stats stuff and all that nonsense you see. But I mean, it's really frustrating. This is not the first time that we're upset about guys getting snubbed. And I don't know. If you're not watching Campbell, like I see a lot of guys, Pro Bowl is a popularity thing. And
exactly,
it's really frustrating how true that is because you get guys like Campbell who aren't the biggest name in the league, but they're still producing like they should be.
Yeah.
But I think I saw something where nobody in that specific position group made it.
Yes. So I saw that, but then I saw the tweet was deleted. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then I saw another tweet from a very reputable source talking about Devandre not making it, saying it was pretty ridiculous. So, but there has
been a couple different speculations going on out there.
Yeah, but as you said, the Pro Bowl really is a popularity contest. When you have the fans voting, I mean, no, look, we're all fans and we all want to have a say, but let's be real. Fan bases can go and vote and vote and vote and vote, and it just random players. But Devandre Campbell missing it. I mean, right now he is PFF's number 2 rated linebacker in the NFL. I mean, in terms of tackles, he is. I'm saying at linebacker tackles, he has 92 tackles on the year. Bobby Wagner's first overall at 113, so he's pretty close behind him. He's just been incredible all year. And then other alternates, though, you have Aaron Jones as a first alternate, which is obviously well-deserved. Yep. And then Rashaan Gary, who is an alternate, who in my opinion, or a reserve, I should say, Rashaan Gary's had an incredible season.
Yeah.
He played through injury. I think it was a bit of a snub, not as much as Campbell, but a bit of a snub. And then you have actually Corey Bajorquez making it as another alternate. He's been very solid this year. I think he has the number 2 average net yards per punt on the season. So at least guys are getting recognized. But I think the saying they always say is that, players for the Pro Bowl, their first Pro Bowl will always be a year too late, and their last Pro Bowl will always be a year too late. It takes people just look at names sometimes and just go and vote. So is what it is. Like you said, though, no Packers will be participating in this year's Pro Bowl. They'll be busy practicing for a Super Bowl at that time. And yes,
which I do think that there were a couple records broken with Pro Bowl stuff. I do think, this is what Rodgers' 10th, which puts him at the Packer with the most
number 1,
votes in, and Devandre now has 5 in a row, which I think is that some kind of record I saw, or like at least a streak that.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years. 5 years in a row for a wide receiver is not easy. I mean, to just number 1, just be healthy for 5 straight years to make it to the Pro Bowl, and then to have the production to go along with it. I don't have the numbers right in front of me because Devandre scores so many touchdowns. It's hard to keep track. But over the last 5 years, the last time I did the math, I don't think anyone was even within 10 touchdowns of him. It wasn't even close. He's just been dominant for, a half decade at this point, which to think about in that term is actually kind of crazy, just to think that Devandre's been around that long.
And I do think that since we're on the Devandre topic, this is what I thought you were going to transition to earlier. But I do think that we need to bring up he is now second all time in receiving touchdowns. He officially passed my guy Jordy, which I can accept that. It hurts, but, Jordy finished with the nicest number. So Devandre is at 70, Jordy at 69, and then Don Hudson obviously at 99, which I could see Devandre beating one day, depending on the extension that they give him, because he will get an extension. It's just, one of those things where it's insane the things that he can do. And yes, I'm a big Jordy fan, obviously, but I do want to congratulate him on moving into that number 2 spot. I don't have beef with guys who play on this team. I love watching them succeed, even if it does move my guy down a little bit. I think Jordy would want me to be happy for him. So I will come out here and I'll put on my brave face. And
I am sure Jordy was on his farm, and when he got the notification or was watching the game, I should say, was very happy to see it. And so Devandre making some records. And like you said, I totally agree. We all know the cap this, cap that. It doesn't matter. Davante Adams is the kind of player you simply don't let leave your team. Right. He's not just the best receiver in football. He's one of the best players in football in general.
You don't want to ever have to play him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you know that you can't beat him. So why would you let him go somewhere else?
Exactly. I mean, seeing teams literally I don't know if you saw, I think it was NFL Insider posted a clip of Rodgers and Devandre walking in the tunnel after the game.
Oh,
and so the Ravens had a package called 17 just to cover Devandre, where essentially they had 2 guys on him for a huge portion of the game. And, Aaron Rodgers said to him, that is basically the biggest sign of respect you can get when you have an opposing team setting up an entire formation on their defense just for you. That's as big as it gets.
Yeah. And them two, Rodgers and Adams, they are now tied too for, how did they word this? Most touchdown connections by a passer catcher duo. They've tied Rodgers and Jordy, who I can't remember if it was Favre and Freeman or who.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it was Favre and Freeman that.
So Rodgers and Jordy surpassed that, and now Devandre and Rodgers have tied that. So they are about to be the most productive duo in Packers franchise history. And it's, the fact that we can even argue and see like who's the best like of this era, or who, is Devandre the best receiver, is Jordy, is Jennings. Like you have all these conversations with, luckily Zach isn't here, so he doesn't have to try and argue anything about Jennings. But no, it's like being able to have all these records and just see how great they've been and how great they still are. It really is a blessing that we need to kind of consider. Like we really are a lucky fan base to get to watch the greatness that we do every single week.
Yeah, we honestly are. We've been spoiled, and we've been spoiled for about 30 years between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and the plethora of incredible receivers to go along with it has been amazing to see. And yeah, as I predicted earlier, Devontae catching Rodgers 443rd would obviously then put them at first as the most productive pass catcher duo in Packer history. So that would be a fun moment for the two of them. But Jen, I've made it 35 and a half minutes without doing this. Ooh, what a day.
Okay, people also need to know we had the ugliest matchup.
It was terrible.
I
had out of the 80s.
Like why Higgins had 3.3 points or Cooper, not Cooper, or Cooper, but I was gonna say Cooper Cup because wrong league. Amari Cooper got me not even 2 points. It was like nobody was producing.
Yeah.
Except for Aaron Rodgers. Like he's the only one on my team that I'm not making walk home.
Yeah, that is fair. He got you about 30 points, but just like you, so as Jen said, it really was a very ugly matchup. Coming down to less than a point, 87.7 to 86.9. It does not get much closer, but to give
I
some
was so
context,
frustrated too because I'm really superstitious, and if I am beating someone, I will not check it because I don't want to I don't know what it is, but so I checked it at one point and I was winning by maybe a point, and I was watching the game and I didn't see Goddard catch anything else. So when you're like, oh my gosh, our matchup, I thought I had it in the bag, and I looked and I was like, I lost by not even a point. I was so frustrated. Stupid. I mean, the fact that I was even able to make playoffs, I guess I'll take it because my team, I don't know what happened. I don't have a bad team. They just weren't producing. I had a lot of COVID issues, and it is what it is. But to lose by less than a point, unbelievably frustrating. And I was not, I was complaining because I went to the dentist yesterday. So it's like my teeth were sore. I'm losing fantasy. I was just not in a good mood. I was very crabby and irritable. So yeah, I did not need that. But I guess congratulations. You get to, at least I don't have to be the one to lose to Tom Crabtree this week.
I know. I am going to be playing the 11-1 Tom Crabtree Kringleberry team. And I am, I would say I'm nervous, but I don't want to lie. I know I'm going to take him down, bring down that season.
It's got Jonathan Taylor, who, if Rodgers for some reason doesn't win MVP, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
It's really the dream for Wisconsin sports fans.
Exactly. You're either getting a former Badger or the Packers quarterback for the MVP this year. But yeah, as Jen said, I mean, just a small amount of context. It's very important to me. Just the fact, Jen said, I thought it was over. I didn't even look until about halftime because you were up by like 20 points. And I'm like, there's no way. Yeah. I was an idiot, and I was hoping that Tyler Lockett would clear COVID.
I was wondering if you were even going to take him out. Yeah. I was like, there's no way he's just going to leave him in and hope that he.
Yeah. So I played Freddie Swain, who had a tremendous one target and made me question my entire life.
He had as many targets as some of my starting number one receivers. It made absolutely no sense. Not Higbee. Who did I say? See, now I can't even.
Amari Cooper ended up with one.
Who's Bengals?
Oh, Higgins.
There we go.
Yeah.
Where he had 3.3 right away in the game, and then they just didn't target him again. And Nick Chubb, who was supposed to just steamroll everybody because the entire Browns offense is out, didn't get me nearly what he needed to. And I'm dumb. I should have played Brandon Cooks, who got me 25 on my bench, and Christian Kirk, who got me 19. But
yeah, when I saw Cooks catching those touchdowns, I thought he was on your lineup, so I didn't even look. I was like, I'm done.
I was so upset.
But I had Najee Harris and Alvin Kamara combined for 8 points. So as you said, it was an ugly matchup.
Yeah. I had hope when Kamara wasn't when nobody scored a touchdown that game. I had hope. And then out of all people to ruin my hopes and dreams, you get Goddard.
Dallas,
what?
or the GOAT, or yeah. So on the final play of the Eagles Reds, the Eagles Washington game, for no reason at all, up by 10, the Eagles throw and Goddard catches a 20-yard pass and wins the game.
Yep. Stupid.
I didn't even see it. I gave up, and then my brother calls me. Shout out to him for giving me the good news. And yeah, that was a great matchup. I'm very sorry. I felt bad because that is probably the worst way you could possibly lose, especially in the playoffs.
I have definitely had losses where like it didn't even make sense. Like we tied, but they still, like on the ESPN app, I think it is, where they still pick one because they go by like a number you can't see.
Yeah.
And it was like I was so frustrated that I literally emailed somebody and they had to explain it to me why I didn't win or why it didn't count as a tie.
Well, that is why we do not use ESPN.
In that fake league that you won't believe that I'm in, I do have the number 1 seed. So in other worlds, I am good at fantasy football, and I did sneak my way into my family league. So the lovely toilet seat behind me will not be with me much longer. It'll go to my sister who took last. So congrats, Mallory, passing it on to you.
Yeah, the family toilet seat will now go on to Mallory.
Yeah, and then I can actually put something nice here.
Yeah, maybe
I've got other memorabilia I'd rather have than a toilet seat behind me, but yeah, that's the rules. You got to display it. So
you got to do what you got to do. Toilet seats for life. That's what I say. But yeah, great matchup there, and another great matchup will be this Saturday against the Browns in Green Bay, as Aaron Rodgers said. Christmas in Green Bay, what could be better than that? And it's going to be a fun game against, much like the Ravens, I mean, a team dealing with some COVID issues, some injury issues, but they're a solid team. They've got a solid defense, a great run game, definitely no one to just look past, and it's on a bit of a shorter week. So, Jen, going into this game, what would you say is your X factor for the Packers to come out with a win in Green Bay on Christmas?
My X factor, it's going to be stopping the run game because, I mean, Nick Chubb he's dangerous. Luckily he helped me a little bit in fantasy, just not enough. But I think getting Kenny back, being able to secure that middle, I think that's going to be huge because really I don't have a lot. I mean, we could talk about special teams, but that's I don't ever want to talk about them again. But no, I really think, Baker's a good quarterback, and hopefully he's the one playing because I do like watching the best of the best. And I guess speaking of which, I also need to bring up Myles Garrett. I think he also stopping him is going to be huge.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of our second, third string offensive line, and they've been able to hold their own, which has been awesome. Rodgers did take a couple sacks against the Ravens, and I just think if you can stop a guy like that who's having a record year, that's going to be insane because Myles Garrett he's a force, and it's terrifying, and I do not want him touching Rodgers. So I know it might be inevitable that he gets to him maybe once or twice, but I think if you can shut him down for the most part, so shutting down Garrett and shutting down Chubb, I think those are going to be the two biggest X factors in this game. Yeah,
those are definitely great calls, and I'm gonna go mostly with Myles Garrett. I mean, he's a freak. He's probably he's the best pass rusher in football right now. And it's not just that it's so hard to block him, but I'm just afraid to see him get near Rodgers because he's just such a gigantic person.
Is he the one that wore the Grim Reaper on Halloween with all the? Yeah, and I don't think
tombstones in his.
I don't think Rodgers is on that list, so I don't want him to be added this week.
Yeah, we know Garrett's going to try to add him to that list, but look, I trust Yash Nijman to step up as he's been doing most of the year. And like you said, I mean, we have 4 backups and a rookie on the offensive line right now, and they've been great. So we got to give them props. We got to give Adam Stenovich and Luke Butkus, the offensive line coach, props. And speaking of the offensive line real quick, David Bakhtiari, bit of interesting news today. They're quote unquote unloading him, as in they're not going to have him practice this week. Obviously, he will not play on Saturday, nor will Zadarius Smith either practice or play. Jair Alexander is practicing. Don't expect to see him play, but just a little injury update on those three. Once again, I do think at some point, even if it's at the playoffs, we'll see them back. But I would really love to see them, even if it's just in week 17, or I should say week 18 now this year. I just don't want their first game to be a playoff game. That's always a bit scary.
Right.
We're going to take them when and if we could get them.
Yeah,
But
and I think if they can play against the Lions, that would be a great transition game. And hopefully by then we've already locked in home field advantage. I know I was talking to a coworker, when you probably know this, when you don't live where your team is, you find those people that you can talk to about your team. So I have a coworker that I talked to about the Packers, and we're talking about how cool it'd be, if you could lock up the number 1 seed and then maybe like rest Rodgers. Maybe that'd be a good game for Jordan Love to come in and play. It's all that wishful thinking that it's too good to be true. I think that would be nice, but that'd be a good game for guys coming off injury to transition into.
Yeah, for sure. I will say though, and the biggest reason it would be nice to get Rodgers a week off, obviously, is because of the toe, which we're not going to get into because his toe is.
Which it would actually be like 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Unless I don't know if there's a week between, but yeah.
But I have to bring up, 2011, 15-1, locked up the 1 seed, benched him versus the Lions in week 17. Of course, that was the crazy Matt Flynn game, which was a ton of fun to watch. But I never love the idea. If you're already going to have a bye week, then you add another week. You don't need there to be any rust.
Yeah.
Packers have already had a hard time starting games this year. So if it was up to me, even if they locked it up, at least play Rodgers for like a half.
Maybe a little bit, but
you don't want to take any risks. That's but it would be nice to see Bakhtiari, Jair, Zadarius in some form by week 17. And but before we head out, Chris, I'm sorry, I did have to bring it up. It was very relevant in the moment. But let's get to our weekly score predictions against the Browns Saturday, Christmas Day. To kick it off, Jen, how do you see this game going down?
I mean, just the way that Rodgers has been talking with the media, he seems really fired up for this one. The way he was talking with Aaron Andrews in that post-game interview and what he was saying on Pat McAfee, I think he could have like a 4-touchdown day in him and maybe even run one in, because why not? Because it's, Lambeau Field, which is iconic, as he said. And it's a December game. It's Christmas. It's at home. There's records to be broken. There's just a fire in his soul. You can see it. So I guess, based on what I just said and not being able to do math, the score that was popping into my head was 31-17. But I would love to see a 40 burger for Christmas. So that would be just an extra little treat, but 31-17 is going to be my prediction.
I'm with you on that. I think just Rodgers' attitude and just the way he just seems so happy and just with everyone around him and just loving the team. And that the conversation he had before those final kneel downs, talking to the team, saying how cool it is and how important it is, 3 years in a row, NFC North champions. Take that, it means something. And
we didn't even touch on that.
Yeah, we didn't even touch. I know. So I'm happy.
3 seasons in a row.
Exactly. 3 seasons in a row, division champs.
They don't hang banners for it, so we're not going to sit here and talk about it too much.
They only do that in Minnesota because they've got nothing else to hang. But yeah, for me, I much like you expect a big game out of Rodgers. I'm going to go 38-20 Packers. I think this will be a high-scoring game for the Packers. The weather could play a factor, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm very confident heading into this game, and I think everyone would love a nice Packer 40 burger Christmas present. I mean, nothing beats that. And so that does it for this week's show. everyone, as we head into the holidays and New Year's, just want to wish everyone a happy holidays and a great New Year. And we will see you. Will we be back? We'll be back before New Year's, right?
Yes.
Ooh, look who pops in.
Wow.
Wow. The bozo himself. Bark, bark,
Decided to show up. Yep. He's just getting ready for Mercedes to catch that record-breaking touchdown.
We will be barking with you, Zach. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping / expecting maybe a short cameo from Zach. I jumped in, a few weeks ago from a plane looking like the Grim Reaper, very scary situation.
That was terrifying.
No, so I was hoping Zach would have done the same, but
no, we do have a show next week before New Year's, and if things are still on schedule, it'll be a very special episode because we will be having a very special guest on with us.
That is very true.
You'll definitely want to be here. I hope that that's still a thing. I'll have to touch base with this person.
I like the vagueness, but everyone, we could be in for a very special episode next week. And before we head out, once again, check out Camp Eshe Collective, Open Book merch, Game On Wisconsin merch, Packers merch. I mean, just great stuff. And as well, make sure to check out Jen on Twitter at BigMac_4. And as you saw, the Barker in the comments, Zach, he may not have been with us in person, but he's always with us in spirit. So make sure to check out Zach on Twitter at @ZachariahJ and myself at BookofEli_NFL. And as you see at the bottom of the screen, make sure to follow Game On Wisconsin on Twitter at GameOnWI and subscribe on YouTube at Game On Wisconsin. And just before we head out, everyone, make sure to check out this Freezer podcast. Ad goes every Monday on Game On Wisconsin, a great show with a great crew. And we will see you next week at 12-3. Happy holidays, everyone, and we will see you soon.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sanjay from the Freezer Podcast. With me is Fred and Matt, and we are always here on Mondays at 7 p.m., right before Monday Night Football. So come check us out. You never know what we're going to bring on the show. But hey, you know what? You have to check us out from 7 to 8 because you know what? I got to put my kid down right after. So join us, 7 p.m. And definitely check us out because we're fun stuff. So, what the fuck is fun stuff? What?
Dude,
Oh
what
my
a
God.
beast,
Do
dude.
him. Hey,
Come
watch
on.
us because you get to see
You're getting
him.
kind of Michael Jackson. Like, protect the neck, dude. Jesus.
I know.
Fucking Michael Jackson over here. I hang him over the fucking balcony. I can't. Hold on. That's weird. Now we have a baby all of a sudden.
Just do it. That's the best part about it. He's got a baby. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Poopy
Hey,
that.
what's up, guys? It's that was you. That was you.
No, what you think, Fred? All right.
Fred.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just gonna be me and you, or Eli and Zach gonna pop in?
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while.
Every now and then we'll kind
He was already right away.
It's kind of, well, we're used to you attacking us, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?
I see